The first thing we want to start with when we're drawing a bird is to kind of figure out how the bird is setting in relation to their tail there. We kind of want to draw a line. And I'm drawing on top of the bird so that you can see better. Actually, let me get a marker. I can try to really make it show. Let's see. All right. So let's try that again. We're just going to draw a line. Let's see how the tail is setting. Then we want to draw a circular shape for the body and a circular shape for the head. So we can see how does the head sit onto the body. So in that case, and when I am drawing this, we're going to draw our bird first. So then we can kind of draw the branch to meet it. So in case there are, any kind of distance issues, we're not having to make the bird's legs longer to reach the branch, if that makes sense. So first thing we want to do is, I'm going to put him about here. So I'm going to draw first my angle, and then I'm going to say our body shape. I'm doing this very light, maybe a lot darker than I would normally. And then we have kind of our head shape, and the head sort of sits on top. And then we have our line for our beak, and the eye is going to go about there as well. So those are kind of guidelines that we want to create for ourselves. I am going to just roll my kneaded eraser over it to make it much, much lighter. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to start looking at our contour of the bird, and again, very lightly, going to kind of draw the shape that I see here. So she's kind of, he or she, not sure. It kind of has a rather flat, and then it kind of comes straight down, and then our beak shape looks like this. And I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna judge my distance with the eye. Kind of comes down this way, and then it's coming around. I'm just going to kind of put an indication on where it is right now, because I'm going to come in and do more details later when I'm coming in with my pen. So we have our beak. I do feel it's kind of that shape. And then we're going to come down. Ever so lightly. And so that's kind of where our head ends. We kind of get in. Like so. And here. So comes up under the eye and around like this. And I can already say, okay, this eye is a little too big, so we're going to make it smaller. And beak. So then they have this area of feathers around where their ear is located on the side of their head. That comes up like that. Come in down there. Now this guy comes down and then like this. We do not see a whole lot of the wing here. So I'm going to come up and kind of just put in a shape there for now. Like so. And this is where our tail is located. I don't think let's see, it goes up like that, and then like that, and then there are feathers here like that, and then he's gonna come in here like that. And let's see. There comes our one leg, and then another leg. Now, we want to try and get our proportion correct before, this is like the most important step, is trying to get the proportions of your bird correct before you come in with any kind of ink. So I think this wing is a little larger and comes up like that, and then I'm going to come down in here and we'll just put that in there. Now with the eye is not a circle. Something to keep in mind. Going to have these wonderful lids, and he's very much got that kind of but he's got these wonderful details around his eye that we're actually not going to attempt to put in with pencil. We're going to kind of save that for, so I think this eye kind of slips up a little farther. We're not going to do too much eye detail, or his head. We're not going to do too much detail with the pencil because a lot of that will be placed in. So I think his head is much more like this than he has like coming up around the eye like that. Again, I'm just coming in and then checking to see, and I'm looking and comparing it to, see, now he's just a little too much. There, like that. So I'm not worrying about my light and dark areas. I am not worrying about color yet. But I am I want to mark in where his little ear flap is. And I actually think that's more like there. But he still kind of comes down like so. Like this. And I think he's a little bit more subdued on that area of his neck. And yeah. His tail appears to be much longer to me. So we're going to kind of come in like that. All right. And that's all I'm going to do in pencil, because I will next come in with ink. But there's the idea of our bird. It does not have to be perfect. And then I am doing a quick contour drawing of the branch and the Winterberry. So the branch comes up here, and then and do this when you're confident, you feel as though your feet are the right place. So again, I make sure I have my eye placed, but I don't necessarily need I don't necessarily need a whole lot of detail there yet. And when I come in with ink is when I will cement those details. Like that. All right. Everybody, I would encourage you in this class to start with, again, do like a line to kind of show how the tail is sitting. If you notice, the tail comes up, and in this case it's kind of right where we have our beak. The beak and the eye are going to be on the same line. The head is going to stack over the body. Put in some basic guidelines for yourself before you start mapping in details, looking at the contour of the bird.